Good morning, friends. Today I want to take a moment to walk you through some of the most pressing stories shaping our world right now. There's a lot happening, from humanitarian crises to simmering tensions in Southeast Asia, from significant shifts in global trade to military exercises and the heartbreak of tragic accidents. Let's dive in with care and reflection. In Gaza, the humanitarian situation has reached dire heights. Over the past day, just a handful of aid trucks, 73 to be precise, were allowed entry into the region. That's barely a trickle amid a blockade that has tightened the grip on a population already struggling under tremendous pressure. Distressingly, reports indicate that at least 133 people, many of them children, have died of starvation since this conflict began. The local authorities are not mincing words, accusing Israel of deliberately engineering conditions that sow chaos and hunger. It's a heartbreaking reminder of how geopolitics can intersect so tragically with human suffering. The gates for aid are narrow, and each delay deepens the desperation on the ground. Turning our eyes to Southeast Asia, the storm clouds over the Thai-Cambodian border show little sign of clearing. What began as a long-standing territorial dispute is now a violent clash with deeply entrenched roots in history. Since late May, tensions have steadily escalated, culminating recently in exchanges that have tragically claimed over 30 lives and displaced a staggering 168,000 people. Imagine the upheaval: families forced from ancestral homes, communities torn apart by uncertainty and violence. The two nations have blamed each other fervently, each side feeling wronged and defensive, but there is a flicker of hope on the horizon. After rounds of mediation, including efforts from unexpected quarters, such as former US President Trump, both Cambodia and Thailand have agreed to meet for talks in Malaysia. The goal is a ceasefire, a pause from the hurt. It's a delicate moment that could either lead to fragile peace or further escalation. The shadows of history, with treaties dating back over a century and a half, continue to weigh heavily, but the hope remains that diplomacy can prevail. Meanwhile, on the stage of global economics, an important development has finally taken shape. The United States and the European Union have brought to a close a complex and hard-fought trade negotiation, announced by none other than President Donald Trump and EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. This deal marks the end of months of uncertainty. Trade agreements between these two economic giants ripple far beyond their borders, shaping markets, industries, and consumers worldwide. This agreement promises stability and, ideally, mutual growth, easing tensions that had threatened prolonged stasis. In a world where economic certainty feels ever more precious, this pact could provide a welcomed breath of confidence. On the security front, Asia chairs a tense tableau. Taiwan is immersed in its longest ever military exercises, simulating defense strategies against a possible Chinese invasion. These drills prioritize protecting urban centers and critical infrastructure, an acknowledgement of the complex geopolitical pressures the island faces day to day. The broader region isn't immune to turmoil.